Hey guys, Jay here. So today I'm going to do another how it was made thing, except he's doing it because it's his costumes. So we're doing two of these, and so this is his RENO costume from Final Fantasy VII Remake. So
this lovely suit right here, as you can see, not perfect, but I think it turned out pretty good. Most of this is just scrap leather that I had bought in bulk a few years ago because it's in short supply pretty much anywhere except, or anytime except October. And just an old dress jacket from Goodwill. Like, I just went and bought the best one I could find, tailored up the back a little to make it fit, and yeah, I think it turned out pretty good for that. The main focus, honestly, the hardest part was the pleather here. It really wasn't that bad, but as you can see, it's got, you know, the tail here. There's no stitching or anything on it. I had to figure that out. I used a glue to tack it down called Fabri-Tac. If I was doing this again, which I might be soon, I would use liquid stitch. It's a lot less visible. Starting point, I compared the jacket to pictures of the character, like of Reno, and figured out where I wanted this point to sit on my back. The first thing I did was just start with a straight line from here to measure it, and I drew the template out of paper. I figured out how long I needed this to be, cut the neck shape out and left the rest of it long, and just trimmed it to shape, and just draped it over the shoulders. I left these a little long initially just to make sure I had some room to work with, and I used the papers. It's just an easy way to clean up these curves. This actually took a lot to get straight, working with that amount of paper. It's not a lot, but it was a pain to keep it even. And then one of the hardest parts I ran into with this, I had to learn to use the lapel to hide some of this because it is a little off. If it wasn't, this whole area on the shoulder was just bowing up like that. So best advice I can give for the shoulders for and try it is use the lapel. Measure how far out you can work with that to hide some of it, because I actually ended up with a little bit of a kink in the back here because of that. And had I just cut down a V shape and crossed it or cut it a little lower, that would have covered another 1/4 to 1/2 inch. This is the only spot on the thing that is completely glued down all the way in the middle. The rest of it, after that, I tacked down just along these lines.
you can actually kind of see. It's just very subtle, but you can see where
you can see it lifting a little bit up here. It's not nearly as visible, if at all, when it's worn and when you're moving, but on this, where it's a little bit looser, you can see it. But then like I said, I followed along these lines, just like an inch or two at a time, kept it nice and slow. It is starting to peel up a little, but this has also been worn 3 or 4 times. It's a couple of years old. All I really need to fix that is go in and either decide if I want to stitch it, or more likely to keep it clean like it is in the game, just add a little more glue under there. In theory, you could stitch all of this down and do a hidden stitch underneath, but I think it would bow up too much on the edges. That would work for the shoulders if you can figure it out, but all of this would just stick up too much. And then, I mean, these ones are fairly obvious. I just layered a couple of pieces of pleather and turned them inside out for the belts. The rivets, honestly, were the hardest part, just getting them to set right. The rest of it was pretty simple, just a couple of belts, a buckle from, I think I got it at Joann's, and then the same for these. The sleeves also have them. I mean, they don't hang well loose, but when you're wearing them, they stay in place pretty good. The only time I've ever had them come down is if the buckle came undone. And it's the other good thing when you're dealing with a suit, especially when it's not tailored. If the cuffs are too loose, you can use these. They're actually functional. I've had to a few times just to keep it from flopping around too much if it's really windy or if we're rushing to somewhere. I've had to tighten it down a little just to keep it from shaking around too much. They actually do come in kind of handy. And then these were actually more, at least as much anyways, of a pain as this, simply because this side has a pocket. This side doesn't. Reno has these on both sides. I was able to use the pocket as a guide to this one and just glued it down. I just glued down strips to make it nice and clean. But I had to figure out how to match these as close to perfect as I could. I actually had an easier time with these ones just because on the bottom there's also ones under the pocket, but there's still a pocket. I was able to measure and figure out where to start it, and that went smoothly. These ones, yeah, this
not
one's a
so
pain.
much, right?
Yeah. And then this, I could have done stitching, but again, to keep it coherent with the rest, the flaps on these are also covered in, or they're also, I don't know if they're wrapped in leather with him or if they are leather, but I just glued down up here, glued the sides down, trimmed the bottom to clean it up a little so it wasn't too long, and folded the excess at the bottom underneath and glued it down. It's not the prettiest, but on the underside, but you can't see that. Again, this corner's coming up, but again, it's been worn enough, and it's, what, 3 or 4 years old now?
2021 is when we did this.
So, this is all just regular wear and tear, and it is all easily fixable just with new glue, or if you really want to try and stitch it down, just tacking this corner back down. Overall, considering how many times this has been worn, and the only thing holding this together, the leather on, being not liquid stitch, being Fabri-Tac, which in my opinion, having used both now, is actually worse for long-term holding than liquid stitch. It's pretty impressive. It's actually lasts a long time. But yeah, the only parts that were actually stitched were these 3 belts. Well, 4, I guess. This is 2 pieces. Because I stitched them and turned them inside out to make the belts and then just folded over the ends and stitched them to the jacket. The rest of this was all done with just glue and a pair of fabric scissors. Well, that and a ruler and a
well, yeah. Of course, the measuring stuff. So, yeah. I think that's it for the jacket, right? So the shirt, obviously, it's just a white shirt. Just go get a white shirt. It's just a white button down, black pants. We're just trying to make this go faster because talking about this stuff takes forever, and it makes the video longer. So we're just gonna run through the rest of it basically because that was the hard part. So white button down, long sleeve because you can see them out of his. You can actually. You can They're not pulled through out. Here because this has no arms. Yeah. You can actually see the sleeves a little bit down past the cuff of the jacket, which is important to note simply because that's not technically fashionable. The jacket's supposed to hang down just slightly further or at the same, but it's Reno, so it's a detail. He literally has a buckle that's holding his blazer together. Reno doesn't care. In the original, it zips up, which actually we can talk about the original real quick. All he had to do was add a zipper. In the original Final Fantasy VII, they zipped up. It was a blazer that zipped up. It was just a zipper. It was weird. Easy. Yeah, and that's literally the only difference. Is it's a regular blazer with a zipper in it. Yeah, I like this version a lot better. The pleather looks nice. It looks nicer. It has like some. It's more recognizable as a specific character, and it looks cool. Yeah. And then he has over here his pants hanging up, but just black slacks, and then black regular dress shoes. Get whatever you want. Their uniforms. Pretty plain for the most part. It's mostly just dress clothes. Reno just has some unique redhead flair, as you can see from the wig. And also, one thing you'll note about Reno, in the regular Final Fantasy VII and Advent Children, he buttons it up pretty far. In the remake, he has it like wide open. Oh yeah. It's really When I'm weird. Actually wearing it, I unbutton it all the way down to the second one. So you see about that far. Yeah. You can go further if you're feeling bold. Down to here would be. I don't have the physique to comfortably pull off that low. I've seen it done. I would say if you can do. I would say if you can do that, the going down to third button might be enough. That's like around where his is. But also he's pretty low. Yeah. He's definitely a little. He's a pretty boy. He's vain. All we have left is the gloves. And the wig, but the goggles, but the goggles were easy. Yeah, of the clothing anyway. Yeah. But the gloves, I believe you found these, but they're just fingerless like riding gloves or driving gloves. I don't know if they're supposed to have the stitching on the back. You can't really tell. They are. His do. I don't know if you can tell. His have the 3 stitches on the back. That's why I got those ones. Well, I was gonna say even if they didn't, I would get ones that did because they look more proper for the formal-esque look. I say formal-esque because, all of this and the fingerless wouldn't probably be used by a proper professional, but Reno is anything but. They're technically assassins. That's part of why I like him. But these,
I mean, is Reno really an assassin? That implies being sneaky. He's a murderer for hire.
Yeah. But these I will link. If I can find the link to these, I will put them down in the description, as well as
if we can find the goggles.
We don't remember what the link is for the goggles, but
I will see if I can find it. But as you can see, these were just standard riding goggles. We'll try and get a better clip.
Let me do this. Blam.
There you go. But these are just regular goggles,
well,
standard.
Wait.
Oh. Yeah, as you can see, these are just regular. I think they were just riding goggles for, like, I don't even think they're for motorcycles. I think they were for cycling. Actually, hold on. I do know what brand they are because they came with a case. Bird's brand. I just got them off of Amazon. I'll see if I can find the link. But
either way,
the only thing...
It's going on my channel, so I'll get the link for you.
You're right. I said I will, because I'll try and find it.
Whatever.
And if you want to actually wear the goggles and ride around on a motorcycle dressed up as Reno, it does come with extra lenses that are not tinted, both blue blocker and regular. So they're pretty decent. Blue blockers are
tinted yellow, but whatever.
I mean, yeah, but still.
But
point being, the only thing I had to do to really dress them up is add the silver... Yeah, we might have to get a close-up of that later.
We'll do that later.
See, but just silver trim around the goggles, or the lenses. These were all black. These do come off, so if you aren't comfortable pinning them on there, you can do that and just tape off the lenses and remove the outside pieces. They're attached to the lens, but they come off the goggles, so it makes it a lot easier to keep it clean. And then when I had that off, I just painted a line across the top and along the nose. It doesn't matter if there's a little bit of overlap here because, you know, one, you're not going to really see it, but two, if you go too far past that, the edges of the lens cover, or the lens adapters, whatever you want to call it, the fittings, do cover a little bit if you go too far. I was perfectionist with it and went over it over and over again, but it's kind of forgiving with these because they're removable. But overall, the goggles were pretty easy. The main thing that was different, if you can see, if you're going to do Reno, if you don't mind a little inaccuracy, I have found the braided ponytail helps a lot with weighting it down so it doesn't fly over your shoulder and smack people in the face while you pose and take video.
Yeah.
That helped a lot.
Also, if you want this wig, if you want to get style this same wig, I do have a video where I did that, and it is I think it's called Vegas from Art of Wigs.
I believe so.
Yeah, from Art of Wigs. I'm the one who paid for it, so, well, I mean, he paid me back, but I'm the one who...
Yeah, he ordered it, I paid him
but
back.
I'll link
he knows more about the wigs, I'm sure you can attest if you've seen his channel.
And this one's called Rust, the red is Rust Red. I think it's the only red on there, but that's the one we got. But then you can just follow my video.
It's perfect. It fits
it fits it really
exactly.
Well. But that's basically it for this. So that is it for how he made, and well, I guess we made, because we both did
/ modified
this Reno cosplay from Final Fantasy VII Remake. If you like it, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys later.